What's up, guys? Welcome back to Waterfall Farm. If you're new here, my name's Mike, and this is my latest purchase. This was in a man's yard. It's been sitting outside for 2 years and hasn't ran since then, in 2 years. The reason he parked it up was he's an older man and the pole starting was really doing a number on his shoulder, and it was finding it really hard to start. So he got a brand new one with electric start and parked this baby up. So it was sitting there for 2 years, and I came into his yard and I managed to get it off him for a very, very good deal. It is a twin cylinder Vanguard, I think it's a Briggs. Yeah, a Briggs & Stratton Vanguard. 16 horsepower. It's a V-twin. Well, people will know more about this engine than I do. But what a few people know, and most of you probably don't, is I'm not very good with petrol engines. So this is going to be a small bit of a challenge, but I don't think this one's actually going to be too hard to start. I just came back from a 3-week holiday, so I got this just before I left, and all I did was I lubricated all the connections and I moved them back and forth so that they have some chance of soaking down and getting free while I was gone. And I took off a fuel hose that was cracked this morning, and I got some fuel hose of the same type. So we're going to cut a few fuel lines and put them on, and I did pull out the spark plug before I left as well, and I sprayed some oil down there just so that we wouldn't have any, just in case there's any condensation or anything. And I just checked it for spark now. It's also really hard to show on camera, so I said I'd do it. And we have spark on one cylinder. I can't see the other one because while I'm pulling, I just can't reach over that far and still pull effectively. So I've got spark on one, and it's a nice spark, so I'm going to assume I have spark on the other one. Or maybe someone will walk in here and bother me when I'm filming and be able to see it for me. But effectively now we're just going to cut some fuel hose, put some fresh petrol in it. We're going to take what's in the tank and dump it. And we're going to put some fresh fuel in, and we're going to try to start this thing. If this thing starts, which I'm very confident it will, it has spark, and it was pouring fuel out the broken line, I have some work for it to do, but after that, I think we're going to restore this thing. I think we're going to, well, blast and paint it. At least paint it, maybe blast it. So let's dive right into this and cut some fuel lines up and see if this thing is going to come to life for the first time in 2 years. This is always exciting, isn't it? It is important to note I had this off before, so I am seeing this again. It's not my first time seeing it. But I haven't done much in here besides spray oil. So we're going to run it without an air filter for the moment, just to get it running, because that is absolutely horrible. I might be able to clean it off, but it doesn't look like it. It's pretty bad. So air filter coming off, first thing. The inside looks pretty good though. Does our choke work? Yeah, choke works. That's good. That's another good sign. Yeah, the fuel lines are just absolutely cracked everywhere. It's pretty pathetic. So let's get some tools. Let's take these hoses off. Let's just replace them all. I have like 6 feet of hose, so I have more than enough. Let's soak everything down with oil again, put some new hoses on, fresh fuel, and I really don't think there's much else to do. I checked the oil before I left. It's even still, I don't know how well this is going to show. It's even still a little bit golden. So diesel engines always blacken up like within a couple hours of running since their change. But petrols do hold don't have as much soot, so they do hold their golden color for a nice bit longer. So that does mean that it was changed at some point and it wasn't run too hard. I think I smell a bit of water in the petrols. That's why we're going to change it. So that's probably the only thing that's going wrong here. But I mean, rust-wise, it doesn't seem too bad. Things were a little bit seized, but that happens so often to so many things. I'm not worried about it. Let's actually start ripping some hoses. Okay. New hoses there. Let's just take this whole tank off for the moment. Boom shakalaka. That's taken off. Not hanging on hoses. Now, I don't actually have replacements of these connectors, so we're gonna mind them. We are going to mind them. Yeah, that one didn't even have one. The worst one down here. I'm gonna move you real quick. Another hose here. This one's actually kind of half. This connection's actually kind of half broken. That's very funny. Doesn't want to budge. And these lines are so hard that just me prying on them too much could break them. So this line was repaired before. Come on, you stupid son of a gun, you're just there. This line was repaired because this is a cutoff, a fuel cutoff, and it's actually meant to be bolted right here. There's even a little sticker right there that says so. So that's something not original. I don't know where I'm going to put this, but we shall see. Once I can remember where all these hoses go, that'll be a challenge, won't it now? There's one in here, it's cracked, but I think I'd have to take it off the mount, so I guess we're going to take it off the mount. I'm just going to run through and make a whole bunch of hoses. That's probably pretty boring, so I'm not going to bore you with it. We'll be back when I have a bunch of hoses made. I put my fuel lines back on. I pulled her a few times with the plugs out. What could go wrong, huh? Hold on, there is a fast and slow. Start is all the way this way. Alright, looks like it's all the way down. It's in choke. Ignition on. She's hard to pull, alright? Does not sound like she wants to. So I don't know if anyone here caught it, but in the start of the video, I stated that I smelled water in the petrol tank. Now, me being the clever idiot that I am, had I ever forgotten or didn't think to check that further or to even change the petrol at this point? And if I did change the petrol, this is a few months later now, this recording, if I did change the petrol, I didn't rinse the tank properly, so yeah, my brain was just turned off at this point, so excuse my stupidity, but that's the only excuse I got. Okay, so the camera shut off for a moment. I don't know why, but it fired a couple times when I put a small drip of petrol down. So, improvised starter fluid. Because I don't actually have any starter fluid on me. And away we go. Smells good in here now. Well, that must be a fuel issue then. So they're still not getting fuel up there. And she was running for a good while there. Let me see now. Let me make sure this is open all the way. Attempt number 400. Right. I have left it for a while. I let it dry because I wondered if did I flood it with potentially watery petrol. So it's been over an hour. I pulled the pipe off of the carburetor from this little pump to the carburetor, and I drained it, and we had some watery petrol. So that didn't help either. So theoretically now it should be all bled nicely up to, it should be nicely bled all the way up to the carburetor. And I think that's why it was running and then it wouldn't run again, because it got watery petrol into it and it was just flooding it with water. I think it would have run if I had done a better job flushing it. So, me being the idiot I am, I didn't do that. Now I'm going to have... Okay, so the idiot in the the idiot on screen at the moment is very stupid and has not realized that the petrol inside the tank is not actually petrol, it's water with a hint of petrol in it. So until he realizes that he needs to drain what's in the tank completely, flush it out with petrol, and put fresh, clean petrol in, this engine is not going to start without a miracle. So we can either sit here for 2 hours and watch him fail continuously and run it on deodorant, or we could skip ahead and, yeah, until he realizes that he's an idiot. Jeez, I'm so glad I'm not related to this guy. Oh, wait. Dang it. So, quick explanation. I pulled off the tank drain again, and once again, we had watery petrol coming out.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
So, I think that our tank is our problem, and it's just, I just never get the last little bit out. So there's a couple options. I have to get that tank clean, and then I have to bleed it all the way through this thing, all the way down to that carb again. And I think once I do that, it'll run. It's proven that it can run on hairspray, deodorant, whatever you want to call it, and petrol. It will run if you just fill it with, if you just pour some down the carbs. So I think I'm going to throw in the towel tonight And tomorrow, we're going to clean that tank, and we are going to attack it vigorously with renewed energy in the dwindling light of ending day. Isn't that right, Jack? Effectively, I just am lazy and I haven't cleaned up my tank properly. You go on a holiday and you come back, everything's gone to pot. Alright, so it's the next morning. I completely drained the tank. And I cleaned it as best I could. There's just one little piece of dirt floating around in there, and I can't seem to get him out. So there is a filter trap on this, so if anything does come through, we can, there's a 90-degree coming out here, so if that stone does come out, it should catch it there. So let's all reassemble, bleed our lines, get any of this old shitty fuel back out, and try to start this thing. I'm really confident it's going to start now this time. Okay, I have this reassembled. I'm about to put fuel in, and I have the piping coming out of a little pump that's supposed to go in the carburetor. I have that taken off. We're going to bleed it out again because I know there's still a bit of that watery fuel in there. Let's get to cooking. Check for leaks. Not seeing any, that's good. I might have to pull it a few times, but I have enough fuel inside. I'd say so. Okay, ignition is now off. Choke is on. I want to try to pull it a few times so our little pump works. Actually, you know what I can do just before I do that? I can blow on this and that will do the same thing. That your looks pretty damn clear. I think that's good enough for me. Heck, let's try it. Now if this should create enough suction. Feel that or not. I'll put this hose back on, and we're going to pull start this thing. Alright. The fuel is in. I hope I have enough. Let me look one last time. I think I have enough. Choke is most certainly on. Ignition on. Alright, let's kick this thing. I hope I am pulling it hard enough. I'll put a little drizzle of petrol here. I'm hoping that'll kickstart it. on, gotta move faster than this. That was only running on the petrol I gave it. I tell you, this thing gives me much more trouble. I'm gonna have to disconnect the blades because this thing is hard to pull. I hope our carburetor's okay. Feels like it wants to. It just isn't. Get out, one, wait. This thing will backfire and you'll get scared. And I'll be in trouble. It just isn't getting fuel from the car. Oh, goodness. Yes, do these. I'm wondering if I need to replace my pump because that seems to be the only thing I can think of. I mean, our fuel should be good now. I can't see that.
You're positively sure about that fuel, huh? You sure you cleaned it out well enough? Mm-hmm. In my defense, hindsight is incredible.
Of course, it very well could be. Wouldn't be any harm taking it off again, I suppose. That's a lot of work. Let me inspect my fuel one more time, we'll see. Goodness me. Well, the petrol has really good flow coming out of this thing, so that I don't think that's the problem. And if there is a problem, I might just not be pulling hard enough or long enough. And when I had this off, it was actually burbling out of here. And I pulled it a couple times and it shot out. And then after I shot it out, it was just free flowing. Now, does that mean there's damage to the rubber inside here? Because I'm pretty sure this is just a diaphragm pump. I don't know, we'll see. But there was petrol actively leaking, and when I pulled it, it shot out. And it smelled very petroly. So I also blew into the carburetor. I might have dislodged some dirt. I don't know. I don't really want to take this carburetor off unless I need to. I'm probably gonna have to, but we'll see. Let's keep going with this thing. I think I'm gonna just have to keep pulling and pulling to get it going. I think it's just trying to draw fuel and it's taking a while. Contact. That actually sounded good. I think that's because this engine needs an air filter for enough suction for the air for the fuel to be drawn. So without the choke on, it's not drawing fuel, which could have been our whole problem the whole time, but it's running now, and it's purring like a kitten. Well, I am most impressed. It took a little bit more work than I thought it would, but to be honest with you, half of that is just the fact that I was too lazy to actually rinse this off. I thought it was clean enough as it is, and there must have been just a bit of water in it from condensation or something, and well, that's my own fault for not doing that. So in the future, we're gonna always either have a temporary tank that we know is perfectly clean, or we're going to clean out the tank with whatever machine we get really well before we go trying it. That would have saved us a lot of work, but she didn't give us a challenge at all. She fired right up. That was not my own stupid fault for putting watery petrol in it. So, as of yet, I have spent like €5 on this thing to get it going. I just put some new fuel hoses on. I probably used about 2 or 3 feet of a hose for the entire thing, and that's all it needed. Realistically, if I had cleaned the tank off, it probably would have started right away. The only thing I want to do now is I want to see if it'll restart easily. I bet you it will. Make sure that choke is on. Now I have it set to idle, so if it doesn't start the first time, I might have to pull it up a bit more. But let's see, it's nice and warm now. I am happy. If you can't tell, I am very happy. I am delighted. This is kind of the first non-runner project I actually bought. I was confident it'd start, but you know, it's always a gamble on one of these things. So now what I can do is I can the oil looks pretty good in it, to be fair, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna change that right away. Yeah, it's a nice golden color. It was fresh enough. I'm gonna have to reroute some of these hoses slightly because they're going in places that get just a little bit hot. So we're gonna reroute some hoses. I'm gonna reroute some hoses. That's nothing interesting. It's just pushing hoses over. I have to buy a tire for the other side, so I'm gonna do that. And when we come back, hopefully I'll have something that's needing cutting, and we'll go down and test it. I am excited. This is exciting. All right. It's been a little while. I have my tires. Unfortunately, the weather has been absolute pouring rain, and quite thankfully, I think we're past our season for topping. But we're gonna change these tires, and I think in the next couple days, I have one little job I can do before the season completely is finished. And then I gotta start thinking about winter again. Flat tires are so hard to move. So I'm just gonna change one tire for now, since that one hasn't been pumped since I bought it. Just gonna change this one. And this is gonna be interesting because I haven't done this before. This is sad, but what could go wrong? All right. Okay, it's been a couple days. It took a few days because the inner tube was knackered on the tire. So I had taken the tire down to the tire shop, the local tire shop, because I couldn't get it off and I was getting frustrated. It's never good to see Michael frustrated. Bad things can happen. So I took it down there, they tried to change it, they said the inner tube was knackered. We all know why that happened. So I had to go order an inner tube. That took a couple days to come. Got the inner tube. Anyway, done. This is only running with the choke on. So, with the choke engaged. So, I was mentioning that to someone. They said there's some carb cleaner you can put in the fuel, run it at a high RPM, burn it out, burn out any debris in the carb. I tried to do so. I didn't have any luck. It smells like a charcoal barbecue in here now when it's running. So we're going to take off the fuel tank, we're going to take off the carburetor, hopefully it comes off easily, and we're going to go do a really good clean. I have some actual carburetors for cleaning it. We're going to go through it, clean it, and put it back on, and hopefully we have a good running machine. And finally, at that point, after that, all we got to do is I'm going to properly inspect our belts, make sure they're not about to fall apart, and then we should be able to ready to test it. I was hoping to do that today, but life throws you a curveball. So let's take this carburetor off, let's clean it, let's throw it back on, and let's run this thing. Alright, let's try to start this. Well, does it work?
Absolutely.
Is it perfect? By all means, no. But for €100, that was parked for 2 years, and all I really did was take the carburetor apart, clean it, and put fresh fuel in the tank. You probably can't hear any of this from the wind, so we'll probably do it again. But it did work very well, and it's definitely getting stronger the more I use it. What I've done here looks like absolute crap. This is actually bugging me now. I might have to come down and get the tractor and clean this up, tighten this up, but maybe even use this more to give some more exercise. But where there were rushes and I went through, there really aren't now. And if you go slow enough, it really does pump. So, yeah. We definitely need new belts because I can smell the belts burning. I hit something there. They're not tight enough and they're probably a little old too, but they're pretty good for what was here before. So, is this thing worth it? Was it a good buy? Did I get burned? I think I did pretty well. Excuse the wind noises. It did really well. It's getting stronger the longer I work it. I had that carburetor cleaner in it, and I'm leaving it full RPM the whole time. Definitely getting better. So whatever bit of gunk was left in that carburetor is definitely getting burnt out and running at at high RPM is definitely helping clean it out. Alrighty. Well, that's about all I got for you today. It did really well. It actually did better. I don't know if you could even hear me with the wind down below. And today it's not actually better. This is a different day, if you couldn't tell. It actually did really well. The more I use it, the better it gets. It's gaining horsepower. It's getting stronger and better. I probably should have sharpened the blades before going down, but at the same time, it was just a test, and it did really well even with the blades as they are. I need new belts for it. That's definitely something I should have done in this video, but I didn't. I didn't even think of it, really. I checked them, and they seem to be okay. They're not exactly falling apart, but they will need to be changed soon. I don't know if it got into the video or not, but I could actually, they were slipping a bit and you could really smell them burning. That's not a good sign. So our tensioner probably needs a little tiny bit of TLC. I kind of already did that behind the scenes. And yeah, new belts will definitely make a huge difference there. The engine coming along great. The rest of the machine in pretty good order. Our tire, our new one's holding. It's been a few weeks since the video was taken, but the other tire, it's still holding there. It's just leaked ever so slightly, so we'll get that other tire put on at some point soon. And this is probably just gonna sit now in the shed for the winter, and in the spring or late spring we'll pull it out and do a small bit of mulching with it. But thank you all so much for watching. This was a really interesting one, and I'm finally glad to have conquered my first non-running petrol. Every other time I've touched the petrol engine that wasn't working, I made a big mess of it. So I'm really glad that I did something with petrol engines that was positive, and that it turned out well. So with that all being said, thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you again soon. I got more projects than I can handle right now, so you shouldn't have to wait long for another one. I always say that, but we try. So thank you all so much for watching. Hope you did enjoy. If you did, feel free to hit that like button down below, and we'll see you on the next one.